We're going to get into the couch stretch, and we're going to start off with the easiest version using an incline bench. By doing this really helps us open up the body if we're really tight. So to start off, you can always, the lower the incline, the less of the stretch the easier it is. And then as you raise it up, it gets a little harder, and I'll go ahead and show you. So we'll just start here with this incline, and you're going to go ahead and place the foot, plant the foot next to the bench right here. As you can see, this foot, the left one, and then I'm going to take the right leg, put the right knee on the bottom pad, foot up here, and you can use assistance if you need it. And then the left foot, or whatever foot's off of the bench, you kind of just plant and just use it to balance yourself. And then if you need more assistance, then you just go ahead and use 2 poles or whatever you have next to you. And then when you're here, you want to make sure we're squeezing the glute to get a deeper stretch in the quad and into the hip flexor. And then if you're able to balance, then you can go ahead and just take that off. And then you would just hold this. And as you become more open, you would go ahead and raise the bench. Like that. So it would be the same thing. Plant the left foot, put the knee up here, here. Assistance or no assistance, up to you. And then eventually raise it all the way up, planting the foot, other knee up, foot up here, using assistance if you need it or not using it, and then making sure we squeeze the glute to get a deeper stretch in the quad and into the hip flexor. So I'm going to show you 2 different ways to get into this stretch, one with assistance and then one without assistance. So when we have assistance, you can go ahead and put the top of the foot on the bench, hold yourself here, and bring yourself slowly down, just like that. Or you can, another option with the assistance is you can go ahead and have your foot here to the side and then just bring your foot like that. And then push yourself up with the assistance, holding yourself up. And as we have the assistance here, if we lean forward, it takes a little bit less tension off of the quad. And as we lean back, it gets a deeper stretch into the quad, which is what we want and what we want to work towards. And we want to work towards pushing ourselves all the way back. And then when we push, and when we're in this pose, we want to make sure we are contracting the glute to help us get a better stretch here into the quad and into the hip flexor. So just like that, using the assistance. And then say you don't have assistance for some reason. Another way to get into this is coming like this, having your hands on the floor, putting that foot back onto the bench just like that. And if you're just starting off and this feels really deep, you just stay here and just continue to breathe and make sure we're squeezing the glute to help us get a better stretch. And as you're progressing, you can go ahead and take one hand to the knee, the other hand to the knee, making sure we're squeezing the glute. And as we slowly progress, what we do is we go ahead and push back until our glute hits the foot. And when we're here, we again want to make sure we're squeezing the glute to get a good stretch from the quad into the hip flexor. And as this becomes comfortable for you and you're ready to take it to the next level, all you would do is take this pad, move it out, get back into the stretch like that, or however you need to get into it. Then again, using no assistance, or if you have assistance, you can always use assistance. And pressing back, squeezing the glute, and then you would and as you progress, you would continuously bring it all the way down until we have just one pad like that, whether you're using assistance still or not. You would just get into it like that, however you need. And then making sure we're squeezing that glute. So for this version of the couch stretch, once you have the ankle mobility, in your ankle to get into this stretch, then you would go ahead and start using the wall. If you don't quite have that, then you would just stick to using the bench. So I'll show you how to get into here from for the wall. So once you have the ankle mobility, like I mentioned, you're going to go ahead and just take your leg, front leg here. The foot that we want to bring up on the wall is going to be here on the side. Then we'll just swing it around like that and position the foot here. And if you're here and you feel a deep stretch, then you go ahead and you can just stay here. And while we're here, you want to make sure you're squeezing the glute to get a nice stretch for your whole quad and into your hip flexor. And as we progress into this version, you'll just go ahead and take one hand here and then another hand here eventually, and then making sure we're squeezing the glute the whole time. Then as we keep progressing, we want to push back so our glute eventually touches that foot, squeezing that glute to get that stretch for the whole quad into the hip flexor. Then once you're here, you can go ahead and, once you're all the way back to the wall, you can go ahead and cross your arms like this, or you can even put your hands like this overhead and then go to the opposite side of the hip we're stretching to get even a deeper stretch.